Yo, what is up, everybody? Your boy E-Man coming at you from Average Joe Sports Talk with a quick reaction video here. I want to go ahead and hit some key highlights, kind of like, I've let this marinate a little bit throughout the week, but I want to give you my take on the Brian Flores lawsuit and what represents and what he's trying to accomplish, and also, what kind of chance he has. Does he have any legs? Is it going to be something worthwhile for the NFL, for the teams? Just want to give you my take on it. First and foremost, look, I support the cause. I support what Brian Flores is trying to do, what this lawsuit represents. There has to be some type of change. I know the NFL is majority Caucasian, no doubt about it. It's been like that forever. I know the Rooney Rule is not perfect, but it does. I think in my book, even though it's not perfect, it has helped get some minorities in the door. All right, because it's given them the opportunity to interview. For all of you that don't know the Rooney Rule, the Rooney Rule is it's a policy that requires teams in the league, in the NFL, to interview ethnic minority candidates for head coaching and senior football operation jobs. It's an example of kind of affirmative action, but there's no hiring quota or no hiring preference given to minority. Only the interview, they have to meet a certain quota for interviews. It goes back. It was established in 2003. It was named after Dan Rooney, the former owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's where we're at. Flores, and I'm not going to go into the details of the lawsuit because I think all you guys know, he is suing the NFL. He named 3 teams specifically: the Giants, the Dolphins, and Denver. But he's actually suing every team in the NFL for racist hiring practice, right? And again, first and foremost, I'm all for that, man. I stand for change. I think it's a very noble cause that Brian Flores is actually risking his career. Because he said it, Brian Flores says that the allegations is made. It's very straightforward. He understands that this is going to lead to him losing opportunities, which it did. I mean, this came out a week ago, last Tuesday, so I gave it a week. I wanted to see what the teams would respond to this, how quickly. I wanted to see what it would happen because I think all the jobs are being filled. I want to see if this is gonna, which I kind of knew was gonna happen, blackball him for whatever other jobs was waiting. Because at that time, when he filed his lawsuit, there was still 5 jobs available, head coaching wise, and Flores was in it to win it in 2 of them, especially the Texans, right? And overall, I like Flores. I live in South Florida. I'm a Brooklyn guy. I've been living in South Florida now for 16 years. But I'm a Giants fan, first and foremost. And I wanted Flores because I was familiar with Flores being down here coaching the Dolphins. There's a lot of insight I had a lot about him. And I like that whole hard knock, tough, no nonsense. I'm going to go against the rule of the owner. And that's what got him fired. He went again. He probably crossed Stephen Ross down here in Miami, saying that, hey, look, there was no secret. I don't think Flores is a fan of Tua, but Stephen Ross is. And that's what probably cost his job. But the Giants needed somebody like that, not a dictator. I don't want to say that word, man. I'm Cuban, dude. We don't do communism in this podcast. Not a dictator, but a individual that was going to come in here and clean the Giants' house, a la Tom Coughlin, right? Somebody with a big stick, stern, right? Because the Giants need that. They had a lot of fluff, and I was looking forward to that. I think he was going to be the right fit. Unfortunately, offensively, he does have his flaws, but I think you need to set that groundwork like we did with Miami, because what we did with Miami was amazing, all right? He turned that team around. Did a great job down here. So anyway, I'm a Flores fan. So I'm rooting for the guy, and I hope that there's some substance to this, because with that being said, when you go out and, number one, he's suing for, discriminations in the hiring practice from the NFL and some of the teams, but also he's claiming that he was offered $100,000 by Stephen Ross to lose games on purpose. So every loss he had, he would get a bonus of $100,000, which is illegal. All right, we know the NFL has signed a huge deal for sports betting, FanDuel, DraftKings. I think it's DraftKings mainly, and that's not good. It's not a good look. I think that right there, if he has something on that, that's going to be huge. But with that being said, when you go the route of discrimination, there has to be some solid rules. All right? There has to be some solid proof. Text messages by Bill Belichick, but he also mentioned in his lawsuit, spilling the beans that Brian Daboll was the one that got the job and not him. I'm sorry. It's those bullets are not going to pierce the vest, okay? It's not going to pierce that vest. It's not showing you that you were discriminated, which is unfortunately. When it comes to you going against the organization, Because remember, these teams are businesses, they're establishments, right? They gotta have hiring practices. They gotta have policies for hiring because at the end of the day, it is illegal to hire unethically and immoral. All right, it could cost the public image of the team greatly. It could diminish the public image of the team. And guess what, man? These teams' public image has to be high because that's how they get people in the seats. All right, people don't like football teams are immoral, unethical. All right, and if they don't do the right thing and reserve the public image or the proper public image, it's not going to put butts in the seats. All right, and I think that a lawsuit for discrimination that proves them that they were discriminating against minority, it goes that route. And with that being said, again, look, text messages from Bill Belichick, I don't think it's enough proof right now. And again, we don't know what Brian Flores may have in store in his back pocket because remember, he is a class action lawsuit. People can jump in, all right, and sue with him. He might be holding some bullets, more bullets on his clip for when this thing goes to court. But also the fact that it's right now his word against the organization. And one of the things that I found very, very kind of weird was that usually when you have a case of this level and the accusation of discrimination, every time in the past, man, a team has been accused of something like, I'm going to use John Gruden as an example. Look, quickly as the news came out and the emails, the Raiders were like, yo, we're going to pause here. We're going to investigate internally and see what happens. It wasn't even a week and the man was fired. All right. And it was like, hey, I'm going to crawfish. I'm going to go back. Look, guys, we're investigating. We're looking into it. And they fired John Gruden a week later. This wasn't that way. The lawsuit came out, and within hours, the NFL put a disclaimer, right? That they're one of the most diverse leagues, and these things don't have any merit. Rare. That doesn't happen. They just threw it in there, dismissing it right away. But then a day later, each team defended themselves right away, which is very, very unusual. I mean, the Giants went out there and, they said it themselves. Because remember, Brian Flores said it was quite humiliating, honest, that he found out that Daboll was the coach through a text message by Bill Belichick. Now, again, Bill Belichick doesn't hold any merit with the Giants. But the Giants went out there real quick, man, and put a press release the next day. And some of the exact words were like, look, based on the allegation on a text message with Bill Belichick in which Ultimate states that he thinks Brian Daboll would get the job is irresponsible. So they fire real quick. The text exchange occurred the day before Daboll's in-person interview even took place. And the Giants ownership would never hire a head coach based on a 20-minute Zoom interview, which is all that Mr. Daboll had at that point. And this is the other part. He goes, we are disappointed to learn that Mr. Flores was under the mistaken impression the job had already been awarded. And they even said that Bill Belichick, these are the Giants statement, does not speak and has no affiliation with the Giants. Mr. Belichick's text message is changed, and I'm reading this right now, provides no insight into what actually transpired during the head coaching. They even put out in their statement a timeline of the time they met with Flores and this and that. Look, I do believe that Flores was a candidate for this, right? But again, we don't know, right? Right now is Flores' word against the Giants' words, and that's why it's going to court, all right? But what I'm pointing out here is that the team fired back really quick. They didn't crawfish. They didn't say, I'm going to look into this and whatever, and we'll take any measures if there's any discrimination. No, they went ahead and said, F it, we didn't do it. We did not do anything wrong, and we're going to defend themselves, which is usually that doesn't happen when there's a discrimination allegation. Broncos, same thing. The Broncos were the first one to do this. They went out there, because remember, Flores said his allegation in his case, the case that he filed said that, they were blasted, John Elway looked drunk, they looked like they were partying the night before and he wasn't taken serious, blah, 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 blah. Look, they even said while Elway's statement was like, he said word by word, this is what he said, while I was not planning to respond publicly to false and defamatory claims by Brian Flores, I could not be silenced any longer. With my character, integrity, and professionalism. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But, he goes to say that for Brian to make an assumption about my appearance, state, mid-early that morning was subjective, hurtful, and just plain wrong. If I appeared disheveled, as he claimed, I was because we had flown in during the middle of the night, immediately following another interview in Denver. And then, of course, he says that he proceeds to say that I interview Brian in good faith, giving him the same consideration and opportunity as every other candidate for a head coaching job in 2019. Again, there was no, oh crap, we might have fucked up. No, he said they went ahead and said, look, we're going to defend ourselves. We're defending the team's integrity. There was no crawfishing, which again, usually doesn't happen. And finally, the Dolphins. The Dolphins are the worst. They're one of the biggest problem here, right? Because not only he's claiming discrimination, but also that you're bribing him, giving him money so he could tank games, which is illegal. Not tanking, so he could lose games, which is kind of illegal, bro. You know what I mean? Pete Rose was betting on games, and his own games he was coaching, and he was betting against the other team, not even on his team, to win. He was betting to win, not to lose games. And he's not going to make the Hall of Fame. He's been out of baseball now for like 30, 40 years. Stephen Ross went out there really quick and fired bullets. He said, let me read this out for you. This is part of his statement. He said, with regards to the allegations being made by Brian Flores, I am a man of honor and integrity. Cannot let him stand without responding. I take great personal exceptions to these malicious attacks, and the truth must be known. His allegations are false, malicious, and defamatory. Again, they're going the defamation route here. And he said that we understand there are media reports stating that the NFL intends to investigate his claims, and we will cooperate fully. I welcome that investigation, and I am eager to defend my personal integrity and the integrity and values of the entire Miami Dolphins organization, baseless, unfair, and disparaging claims. So, unusually, all three teams that he mentioned by name, Denver, the Giants, and the Dolphins, did not hold back. They're dismissing his claims. I don't know if they feel that he has nothing on them. And I hope Brian Flores, if he's going to go this route and blackball himself from the NFL, I hope he has more concrete proof. Again, text message by Bill Belichick is not going to cut it. All right? If Brian Flores doesn't have a whistleblower is somebody's going to go in the stand. And it's somebody that probably worked for the organization that has proof, either he heard or she heard, or emails that said that we interviewed Brian Flores, and I'm not a lawyer, guys, by the way, disclaimer, in just good faith to satisfy the Rooney Rule, the interview quota. If he has somebody that can say that, the man is in business, all right? And if that's something that is happening in one team, I'll guarantee you it's happening in every other team. He needs to have some emails, man. He needs to have some digital, some communication, something that proves that they were saying that they just not, Denver said we're just going to interview Flores. At the end of the day, we're going to go with somebody else just to meet the Rooney Rules. He needs to have that kind of proof, all right? Because like he said, he goes, I'm going to risk, Flores in every interview said, I'm risking every opportunity to coach the game I love, to bring on change for future African-American minority coaches. I'm down for that. I support Brian Flores for that, no doubt about it. However, you have to do it smart, man. Racism accusations is polarizing. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but you need to come strong. My other point here is, I don't know. I mean, I don't know his legal team from a hole in the wall, but I don't know why Brian Flores did not do this after the coaching search. I think it would have had more merit and more ammo. He was still alive, fighting for jobs. He probably would have gotten a job with the Texans. Regardless whether you had gotten a job or not, I would have pulled the trigger after the coaching search, because he was still interviewing for jobs. But as soon as he threw this out there, we knew the Texans weren't going to hire him. The Texans hired Lovie Smith, another African American. Lovie has a great resume. I know he wasn't successful after the Bears, but Lovie is a guy that's well respected in this league. He's a great coach. And the fact that they gave it to Lovie is because, it was a lawsuit that cost that job to Brian Flores. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Brian Flores' legal team, the Douglas and Winter, and I can't even pronounce his name, John Alaftarakis attorneys for Brian Flores, in response, put a statement to the head coaching announcement of Lovie Smith. And let me read this statement for you. And I'm going to close it out with this. Mr. Flores is happy to hear that the Texans have hired a black head coach, Lovie Smith, as Mr. Flores' goal is bringing his case to provide real opportunities for black and minority candidates to consider for coaching and executive positions within the NFL. However, we would be remiss not to mention that Mr. Flores was one of the 3 finalists for the Texas head coaching job position. And after a great interview and mutual interest, it is obvious that the only reason Mr. Flores was not selected for his decisions was his decision to stand up against racial inequality and across the NFL. I understand. Yes, he's right. But unfortunately, dude, if you're gonna stand on TV and say that you don't care if you don't get the job and the only reason to do is to bring change for future black coaches, this statement is complete. Should not even be out there this way. He should have just said that I'm happy with Lovie Smith. This is the reason why I'm doing this for. Fortunately, this right here makes him look kind of like an individual that's pissed off at not getting a job from the Giants, fired by the Dolphins, and now he's pissed off at the Texans. Again, I support the movement. I support the cause why he's suing, all right? Because I think it's not perfect. The hiring is not perfect. I don't think most teams may not be doing anything illegal, but there needs to be a change to give more opportunity. At the end of the day, you hire the individual based on the qualifications, right? And based on what he could do for your team. It's just like any job. I hire individuals all the time, and I look at a few things when every single candidate I hire is, number one, they're safe, because my industry is I hire CDL drivers, commercial driver license individuals who drive garbage trucks. And I hire safety, operations, customer service, attitude, and the ability to be coached and molded to become the best driver you can. And I think as a coach in the NFL, they look for similar qualities. Not driving, but they look at the attitude that it's going to fit right with the culture. I hate to break it to most people here, but the Giants hiring Brian Daboll was a connection hire. I'll guarantee you that when they hired Joe Schoen, or Schoen, whatever you pronounce his name, who spent the last 5 seasons as the Buffalo Bills assistant general manager, I'll guarantee you that when they sat down with Schoen and they gave him the job, part of this job, for him accepting the job, I'll guarantee you he told the Giants, look, my guy is Brian Daboll. I know how he works. He's my guy. You hire me, and if you want me, you're going to have to bring him along. That's just the way the world works sometimes, man, is who you know. That's just the world. Everybody knows somebody. They get in the door, and they do their thing. That's why. That's my honest opinion why Brian Daboll was hired. As soon as I knew he was up for the job, and they hired Joe Schoen, I knew that nobody else, I don't care who's interviewing with the Giants, was going to get this job. So, based on the statement he made about Lovie Smith, I think he should have just kept it classy, congratulating Lovie and saying, this is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, instead of adding the fact that I was one of the candidates. Because if he really means that he wants to do this for future generations, because he already knows that he's going to be blackballed and he has no future in the NFL, then, that statement right there doesn't go well with what he's trying to accomplish. And unfortunately, guess what, man? This is probably going to be something that's going to go to court, but I think it's going to be settled, and it's not going to go very further unless Brian Flores has a ton of bullets in that clip that are surely going to hurt and pierce somebody. In other words, he better have more concrete proof of discrimination, like a whistleblower, digital records, in writing stuff, or audio, legal audio, of course, in order to prove his case. I hope the man achieves change. I stand with him. But you got to be smart. And I don't know if his legal team is good enough or has the best interest of Brian Flores in this case, based on the way they've kind of handled this whole scenario. Good luck to Brian Flores. Hope him the best. And, I hope that if there's something wrong and he has the right proof, that it gets corrected in the NFL, because it's wrong. Discrimination is wrong at any level. All right, at any level. And I hope Brian Flores, if he has something, he's able to prove it, and he's able to bring change along. The guy's a heck of a coach. It is a shame that he's got to get blackballed in the NFL for something that could have probably been handled a little different. That's it. That's my take on Brian Flores and the NFL lawsuit. Thank you for listening and watching. Your boy Eman signing out. Peace.